Greetings and welcome, and today we're in Rottingdean stroke Saltdean stroke Peacehaven during this video, and someone commented on my last video, which I thought was quite interesting, saying that the seaside towns that I drive along are identical to the ones in the Netherlands. Apology, I can't remember your name. I had it in my head but I've forgotten now. And yeah, I just thought that was quite interesting. And started a chat in the comments about that, because I want to know why. There probably is some reason for that, isn't there? Maybe there was a designer that went around country to country, and I think the same is in France as well. But yeah, that was quite interesting. But anyway, so the topic of the video today. So I don't usually do that many videos on international topics, but this one really sparked my interest recently. I've been looking into it a lot recently, and it's insane, isn't it? I want to talk about this Carl Rittenhouse trial that's just gone on, and the shootings itself. Those of you who are not familiar with this story, I'll just quickly, very, very basically go through what happened. As what always seems to happen every day in America, a black man got shot by police. He didn't die, I understand, but he's paralysed. He got shot 7 times in the back when walking away from police. This started a riot in a town in Wisconsin. People were pissed off, and obviously so. You know, if this was your friend, if this was a family member this had happened to, they were angry and they got pissed off and they rioted. And this went on for the first night, and on the second night a Facebook post went round for people to come and protect businesses in this town, to help protect the businesses with guns. So white men turned up with guns to protect businesses, and Carl Rittenhouse was a 17-year-old boy that came along to this. He didn't even live in the town, supposedly. He came from miles away to help out with this, and he ended up shooting 2 people. There's video footage out there. I'm not going to put any on here because I'll probably get my video tagged, but you know, feel free to go. There's plenty, in the day and age of iPhones and everything, there's plenty of footage out there of what happened, and it looks like Carl was being run down and attacked by the people that he ended up shooting. Now, my point of the video is I don't want to talk about who was right, who was wrong in this situation. I don't want to do the American Fox News versus CNN News. If you go to Fox News, they'll be going, Carl Rittenhouse has the right to bear arms and protect himself. And you go to CNN and they'll say, Carl Rittenhouse is a white supremacist who went there intentionally to kill people. That's not what I want to talk about. All I want to talk about is the only thing that was wrong with this whole situation, and the only thing to blame, which is the insane gun laws in America. The absolute insanity that it's perfectly legal for a 17-year-old boy to travel miles away from his home with an assault rifle and stand in the street with other people with assault rifles. It's insanity. To someone that lives in England, and you know, the majority of my viewers are European, so you know, we're all European and feel the same about this. I think Switzerland is the exception. I think they have weird gun laws, but most Europeans will feel the same at this. That just sounds insane, that a 17-year-old boy can legally stand in the street with an assault rifle and what ends up legally shoot 2 people. Now, I've got a few Americans that watch my videos, so I'd look forward to some comments from you guys on what your thoughts are on this, but it just seems completely insane to me. And the second, is it the Second Amendment, the gun laws? You know, in truth, in theory, it sounds great. I mean, the law is there, basically, isn't it? So if the government turn out to be a bunch of pricks, you can form a militia, and you know, you can hunt them down and shoot the government, which sounds great, doesn't it? Because the government always are a bunch of pricks, and you should be wary of them. But it sounds great. But is it really worth the amount of pain and suffering that comes from these gun laws every single day, the murdered children in school shootings, the murdered everyday people that are shot in supermarket shootings and cinema shootings, in Las Vegas when a crazy guy decides to unload an assault rifle on a crowd watching a concert. You know, is it really worth all this pain for that one scenario that might turn up in the future? And in my eyes, people power will always win anyway. If you've got enough people on your side, the public. I mean, the public are police officers. The public are armed forces. You know, they can get hold of guns. It just sounds insane. And of course, the other side of this is, you know, which is the main argument for this Kyle Rittenhouse case, is that, you know, you have the right to protect yourself as an American citizen. You have the right to bear arms and be able to protect yourself from the evil that's out there. And you know what, I get that. Back in the days when these laws were written, yeah, when you were back in the Wild West, when you didn't really have a solid police force and you had to look after yourself, I get it. But we don't live in the Wild West anymore, do we? We don't live in the Wild West, okay? We have a functioning police force that will look after us, and if you take away the guns from the streets, you won't need to have a gun as much. But it's just insane, absolutely crazy. To me, as a European, these laws are just absolutely insane. Now, what it boils down to, really, we've established that those things are not really needed, but what it boils down to is guns are cool, and that's why people don't want to give them up. Now, I'm going to steal a lot of stuff from the great comedian Jefferies. If you've seen his bit on guns, great. If you haven't, go check it out. I'll try and remember to link it in the description, but I do often forget when I say. Whenever I say I'm going to link it in the description, it's probably not there, but I'll try and remember this time. But it's about guns are cool. That's what it's about. And the reason that these guys started a Facebook group and Kyle Rittenhouse travelled miles to go and join these guys because he wanted to stand outside freely with an assault rifle and look cool. Now, I get it. I don't think the majority, I think a lot of those groups generally did feel for businesses that were getting screwed over when riots were happening. We were seeing this all over America last year during Black Lives Matter riots and stuff, and businesses were getting trashed. And for me, I get it, because I understand why these people are angry, and you have to, a peaceful protest is just not as effective to getting through to people, and they are angry and pissed off, and then rightly so, because their friends and family are getting murdered every single day, whether it be by police or whether it just be by the drug game in general, and they've had enough and they're pissed off, and I get their anger. For me, businesses, they're insured, aren't they? I mean, they'll get insurance. I don't think an armed militia needs to go there and camp out, but I'm sure some of these guys were there because they wanted to protect business. But I think a lot of them, and especially Kyle Rittenhouse, was there because he wanted to stand outside and look cool with an assault rifle. And that's what it comes down to with guns. I'm going to steal again from the great Jefferies. You know, people don't care about security. They don't have guns for home security. They have them because they look cool. That's why they're on their Facebook profile with a gun, going, yeah, look at me. They're not on their Facebook profile with a secure safe, going, yeah, look how secure my stuff is. No, look at this door lock, isn't it amazing? No, they don't care. They love guns because they're cool, and guns are cool, but they kill thousands of people every single day in the US, and I slag off my country a lot in my videos. As you know, there's a lot of things that I can't stand about this country, but one thing that I do enjoy and I do love is the fact that I live in a country where I can walk the streets and I know people aren't armed with guns. Okay, look, I'm not naive. I know guns exist in England. I'm not stupid. I know there's crime, and in London and other cities people have guns, but not not everyone. It's incredibly hard to get hold of, and they're not prevalent and everywhere. I mean, there is some crazy statistics, isn't there, about more guns in America than people, but you know, I'm thankful that I live in a society where people are not carrying guns on the street, and I enjoy that. And yeah, this whole, to end, I guess, you know, the finale of this Rittenhouse case is that he got off with it, and he's now a champion for gun advocates. They absolutely love him. But like I say, I'm not really here to talk about whether he should have gone to jail or not. I mean, I guess under American law, he had the right to protect himself with a gun. You know, the law is to blame. Like I keep saying, it's the law that is insane. And someone was obviously going to die that night. When you have a combination of a Black Lives Matter style protest, white men forming a militia with guns, I'm sure some of them probably had white supremacist nature, I'm sure they probably did. Mix that in with it, mix it in with angry people that have just had their friend or their family members shot by police. It's just an insane melting pot, and obviously someone was going to die. Take guns away from that situation and it wouldn't have happened. You know, because we had the same thing in this country, in the UK last year. We had plenty of Black Lives Matter protests. Go back to the 10 years ago to the riots in London, which was an exact same situation. A black man in London, in Tottenham, was killed by police, and they rioted. Imagine if you threw guns into that mix. It's insane. I'd love to hear your thoughts, guys. A bit of an unusual one today. Like I say, I don't usually dive into international topics, but when one takes my fancy, and I've you know, really looked into it, then you know, I'll talk about it. Love to hear your thoughts, guys. Till next time, take care.